Although for the good news, case your panel in Abraham, our Ghana chips and the Muslim being a son, na machine with tea, I didn't know idea cost for Ghana. I said, for good news, Benatuja, a good news with the America memo, the president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, Nakachi, and I'm beginning in Abraham. See, US for or reverse. Visa restrictions or more to Ghana for some back I say and JBN US abino or be restricted visa. Our modern Ghana for now or modi on be near Makintin and a bay Ghana for a bed then so benya queen ako America me muse kwa even po or kwa so bimpo na yet the restrictions be brave at the paper so or for the Ameno Casano America memu breaking news case and if you want to maba okuje to ablakwa the foreign affairs minister no wa bwura America memu Donald Trump nakachi and a chance on na kwa koye meetings ahodo bi a the Ameno Casano America for a US or reverse visa restrictions on Ghana. After say okuje to abla kwa pim wo a ono mo koy din kita ho biom koy meetings bi no isi ejebo eja enya ba bedu Ghana for atadwe yate den na isi anu Donald Trump US president no wa cancel anase wa reverse visa restrictions amode to Ghana for so for umayeko na yanko jisanse mu nyina nchim Ghanatube number isi
no, I think that's good. Yeah, how's it been? Busy, man.
How's your week been?
Yeah.
I'm just really thankful we could have this time together. It's been a while since we spoke on the phone, but then also got to meet you. Since we met, I know just on, we can go through whatever you'd like to as well, but I just want to make sure I hit a couple of highlights.
Oh, the family photo, okay.
Oh, family photo.
Okay, put that handshake.
Oh. No handshake.
Okay. Thank you. That's how they command. No, I think that's good. That's good.
All of whom send a meeting in the just say US phone or mobile to the extent say agreement na okuje to ablakwa ene omukoyen ase omani anje ho they are not happy with the agreement send okuje to ablakwa afight Ghana for JCCC and wa reverse visa restrictions no efi Ghana for nyina so ase nkofro many in the US for no or many nje ho to hwe omudimi na enkoyie omuchi okuje to ablakwa ko muso munchia no chese when they send bebre abe de jaw Ghana has obi aka ho asema mso bigi nyina bro wo Ghana chese okuje to ablakwa the foreign affairs minister no obo adwumadin ye pa wo Ghana hasi it is here men okasa no it is here on America for akwakoye meeting Donald Trump obo na kache honom a oni omagwakoye meeting na it is here men okasa no sa visa restrictions no mo de to Ghana for so no ejebo eja enya ba bedu atisia no o meji sa restrictions ni na efi Ghana for so a atadwi Ghana for so yate den ne ameso bigi ni nyina bro wo Ghanatube fo wa wo hwa a good move ana chese adi we no abeboa Ghana for ana anase emmoa Ghana because enche bia na chese America for buy Donald Trump buy ya all the restrictions can say pan ebe to Ghana for so a disi anu chese obeko America memumpo akwakoye bibi mpo a ebeye din just because of Donald Trump ninsem sem bi mu a odi aba chese Ghana fu nyina obi aka ho asem say Donald Trump na sanya manyama we ya odi be die chese ayemchihie pound na chese okuje to ablakwa se dabi as a foreign affairs minister no on tenase na onya ahwe han saa also tutu na namo na oko America memu na onye omo ekotenase na chese omudin komo kese pa
and this core goal in actually yield
Donald Trump the visa restrictions not the two Ghana for so no nyamiadom true younger foreign affairs minister okuje to black one nyamiadom onu only America for akwakoye meeting den see as restrictions no omeyi if Ghana for so a nso me di ni nyina bro Ghanatube for manko na yenko to ansem no so Ghanatube ni ama yisia.
To His Excellency Samuel Okudzeto Ablakawa, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ghana.
Of the U.S. restriction was made. Let's take a look. Reversal of the U.S. restriction was made. Let's take a look.
Honored to give the floor to His Excellency Samuel Okudzeto Ablakawa, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ghana. The floor is yours, sir.
I'm grateful to you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, today we gather to renew our commitment to a world without nuclear weapons. We in Ghana.
My intention, what you just saw is when he made that call there in the chamber for a renewal of commitment to disarmament. I want to talk about these issues quickly, and I'm joined by international relations expert Professor Lord Mauko Yivuga. Prof, it's good to see you again, and I know you've been waiting for us. I appreciate your patience. Let's start off with the renewal call for the world to commit to nuclear disarmament. How important was that call the foreign minister made?
Thank you, community, and good evening to your viewers. I think it's an important call. I mean, this is something that has been on the global agenda, that we should eliminate nuclear proliferation. And Ghana taking a lead in that regard, even though we don't have nuclear of our own, is a good call that will create a more humane and a more stable international system. So it's good that Ghana is taking up that leadership role in that direction.
I see. And I mean, how far can this call go in actually yielding results?
Well, unfortunately, like anything else in global politics, it's not as simple and straightforward. It will take a lot of work to convince all countries that have nuclear weapons to give them up. And that is the challenge, because on the one hand, you have the powerful countries, United States, you have China, you have UK, you have France, you have Germany, all these Israel, all these countries are having nuclear weapons. Then you are trying to stop others from either acquiring it or to give it up. And other leaders have seen what had happened to Iraq under Saddam Hussein, to Libya under Gaddafi, after they were convinced to give up their nuclear. And we also what happened to Gaddafi, for example. So it's a tricky situation. On the one hand, ideally, we should all be talking about eliminating nuclear, but we all know the incentives that countries have to build one for self-protection, as North Korea, for example, is doing currently.
I see. And then, away from the conversation around nuclear disarmament, we know that when the Israeli Prime Minister was to address the assembly, there was some walkout. What does that say about the world's position? Can you hear me? I'm referring to the walkout we saw.
Yes.
When the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was addressing the assembly. What does that signify?
It signifies that the world is horrified. It signifies that the world is united in its condemnation of the genocidal activities taking place in Gaza. I think it's a protest against the Israeli government. And I'm happy that the whole world saw it, and the walkout and then the protest that greeted the Israeli Prime Minister. For a long time, I think the world has been pampering Netanyahu and Israeli government for a long time because of the victimhood that they've played all these years. And I think the world has come to this realization that you can't continue to pamper them when they are killing innocent people, punishing them for collective crime that they didn't commit. So I think it was a good, a loud statement by the rest of the world to Israel and its allies that what is happening, we cannot tolerate that in a more civilized international system.
And beyond the walkout,
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Avoiding injuries, easy.
What must be done now to rein the situation in Gaza in?
Well, already Donald Trump signaled today that there's a deal in the making towards the release of the remaining hostages and also for permanent ceasefire. Let's hope that this is not one of those things that they say and nothing happens. Israel continues to kill innocent people and they are using the hostages as an excuse to do that. So if Donald Trump wants to show global leadership, then they have to pile more pressure on Israel to agree to a peace deal. Then we can all have a stable environment in the Middle East and we can stop the killings.
And I would have loved for us to go into, dig further into that, whether or not we are going to see an actual action to back those words that we're hearing. We won't go into that tonight. But I do want us to look at the reversal of the U.S. visa restrictions on Ghana. And Prof, we have been asking for a while now what Ghana is getting in that MOU with the U.S. to accept their deportees. Could this be it?
It's highly possible, but it's very speculative. But yes, we have every right to inquire from the government to come clean, because the timing couldn't have been so coincidental. On the one hand, we had this deal of deportees coming to Ghana without parliamentary scrutiny, and it just came to light through the presidential media engagement. Then all of a sudden, we saw the reversal of this visa restriction. So the coincidence couldn't have been like this. The timing couldn't have been coincidental. So one would have thought that the government would be forthcoming. What went into the decision? So on the one hand, it's good relief for Ghanaian citizens who would have suffered under the restrictions. But on the other hand, for the sake of transparency, we need to have more information from the government.
I mean, assuming, Prof, that really is indeed the exchange, that trade-off. Would you say it was worth it?
Well, it depends on where you stand. If you think about citizens who would have suffered greatly because of the visa restrictions, and now that they are going to reverse that, there's a welcome relief to such people. On the other hand, the issues that have been raised concerning transparency in the deal to bring the deportees, those issues will not go away just because of this reversal of the visa restrictions. So to be in the interest of the government to come clean, to know what is in that deal, and whether there's a quid pro quo kind of arrangement that allow Ghana to take the refugee deportees, then in exchange for the restriction being lifted. I think that the government will do itself a lot of good if they are forthcoming with what went into the deal, so that we can all rest assured that there's nothing being hidden from the general public.
Very well. Prof, I appreciate your time with us. Thank you so much. I'll connect now with our correspondent who's been following the UN General Assembly in New York, Komla Kluche. Let's try him one more time. Komla, again, I appreciate what you're doing tonight for us. You've been up and waiting for us to get to this point. Komla, let's talk about what it's been like this whole week. Ghana, Africa has been doing big things in the last few hours. What have we missed?
I can't hear anything.
Well, it would seem that Komla cannot hear us. Komla, I apologize for that. I'm not sure why you can't hear us. I'll try one more time. I'm asking that you've been covering the events the last, throughout the week. Ghana, African countries have been doing great things. What have we missed in the last few hours? Oh, Komla still can't hear me. But gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Komla, I am so sorry. We'll do this again another time.
Order for when a good news Kessia beto Jeffy America mem US Donald Trump no worry versi all the restrictions visa restrictions on the two Ghana for so no reversing na you see good news ejebo enya ba Ghana atadwe yate den and I'm so beginning in Ghanatube see America for Oma reverse visa restrictions or to Ghana for so into the four when they breaking news and that's a good news about to jar Ghana for now akuma ebetom yem with this breaking news of four Emma say aha Ghanatube mobile like no subscribe no share no notification button so my send a bear bring a BB drop content say when you temper not you tomorrow for aha and I made the breaking news and that's a good news in if you American in ABC Ghanatube so makra mu nyina bebre medam nyina se